Hello, everyone. Welcome to GA's Tea Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. If you haven't already, please hit the bell notification. The like and subscribe really helps the channel. And I want to send a special thank you for everybody that has already subscribed. So, guys, let's get our teacups, let's get our snacks, and let's get ready to discuss our favorite characters.
General Hospital Daily Recap, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Guys, we had a bunch of folks in this episode. Jason, Jordan, Danny. So let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. Jordan. I was hoping, like 1,000% hoping that this storyline was not true. That she may be pregnant too. This is ridiculous. I'm telling you. I thought it was going to be Curtis that was going to be the messy one, but this is really, really messy. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I'm hoping that she's really not pregnant because I don't want to see her and Portia pregnant at the same time with competing pregnancies. Something tells me if she is pregnant, she's probably gonna lose the baby and then pretend like she still has the baby. Who knows? It's gonna be something weird and crazy, and I'm not looking forward to this. I was hoping that if they did put Jordan and Curtis back together, but as much as I don't want to see it, that they would just let their relationship ride out together. But this is I don't like this. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. I was just like, please don't make this true. So anyway, Jordan went to see Britt and she said she's late and she says she used protection sometime with her partner. They haven't been really good at you doing it. So she's concerned that she may be pregnant. She knows she does have one kidney and that might be the reason why she's late, but she wanted to double check to make sure. Britt got called away, so she said, you know what? Jordan said, I'll take a home pregnancy test, and if it comes back positive, I'll come back in to see you. So that's where they left it off with her and Britt. Curtis surprised me. I thought he was going to say something really silly with this house thing, but he did say to Portia that she can keep the house. He was going to sell his half of the house to her, so that because of the memories and the family that they wanted to build in the house, and she's going to have the baby, so he wants his baby to be raised in the house, even though he's not going to be in the house all the time. He'll probably come over to see the baby and everything like that. But so they agreed and she was happy to keep the house. I think it's a little weird because Isaiah is her new boyfriend. He's going to be coming over to her house that she has with her ex-husband, that was their house together. I think they should have sold that house and she should have started over, but that's just me. It is a beautiful home, so I can see why she would want to hold on to it, but we'll see what happens with this. But yeah, her and Curtis seemed like they came to an agreement to settle things, and she was really happy that she gets to keep the house. Curtis told Jordan what he did, that he gave Portia the house, that he sold his half to her, and Jordan was a little surprised, but she said, well, I guess Portia is happy about that. But Jordan did not tell Curtis that she's thinking that she may be pregnant. Again, please, 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 for all the soap gods out there, don't make Jordan pregnant. I just don't want to see this. I feel like it's just gonna, no. All right, so we'll see what happens, but she's keeping that to herself. Maybe Curtis might stumble across the pregnancy test in her bag, but I really don't want to see her and Portia fighting about babies. It's just both of these women are too old for that. I just hope this goes in another way. But other than that, that's where they left, and Curtis was saying that he was glad that she was able to keep the home and raise the baby in there and everything like that. So Marco came really close to getting Britt's medication out the safe. He got it out the safe, and here comes Sidwell. I don't know why Marco don't check his father's schedule to see when he's actually out the house, but anyway, Sidwell was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I was checking Britt's medication just because I'm gonna give her a dose when she comes here." And he was like, "Isn't it Pascal's turn to do this?" And he was like, "Britt doesn't like Pascal." So he was like, "So what?" And he took the medication for Marco. He was like, "She has to learn to keep in line. We don't care what she likes or what she don't like. She just needs to keep herself in line." And he put the medication back in the safe and locked it up. So Marco was like, he didn't say much, and he was like, okay, he went on about his way. I don't know how Marco was going to get this medication, but he did almost get close. Before Marco left, Carly had came in, and Marco was like, "Oh, kind of looking around because he was like, why is Carly here? Lucas is not here." But Sewell and Carly said, Sewell invited me over to talk, and then Sewell was like, "Yeah, I want to talk to Carly, but in private." So Marco kind of just looked around. He said, "Okay," he just headed out the door. So as Sewell and Carly are talking, Carly's like, "Well, why did you ask me to come over?" And he says, "Well, I want to plan this dinner, to bring the families together and all of us to come together and have dinner." So Carly was like, "Well, we can't do that." So Sewell was like, "What? Like, why not?" So she was kind of like, "Well, I'm dating Jack Brennan and he's the head of the WSB and he's not caring for you." So Silva was like, "Oh no, I'm a good businessman now. I don't do CD stuff no more. It'll be okay and Jack can come over." I actually want to see this dinner if Jack is going to be there because I want to see how Silva behaves with Jack and everybody else being there. But anyway, Carly agreed. Sybil had to excuse herself because he got a phone call, and then Carly is snooping around the little area that they're sitting in. She's trying to find some little, I guess, opening because Valentine told her there was some way to get an opening or something in there. And she stumbled across Sidwell's safe. She was getting really, really happy. And I'm just like, for what? You don't know how to crack safes? But maybe Valentine does. Anyway, Carly got happy that she found the safe, and that's where they left off. Liz was checking in with Lucas and she was asking him how he was doing because the last time they spoke, he was really concerned about being over there at Windermere with Sidwell and them. And he said, Lucas was like, no, he's fine. He's handling it and stuff like that. He doesn't need her to worry about him. Lucas seems to be taking this Sidwell situation kind of light to me. I don't know. He doesn't seem any kind of urgency in this. Liz was like, well, be careful and stuff like that. But he was like, I don't, I know what I'm doing. Marco is, there for me. I don't understand Lucas. Like he's saying that him and Marco is going to get out, but Sewell is a killer. Like he's literally hurt people. Like I don't know. I mean, it's really weird with him how he's handling this situation. But the conversation shifted over to Liz's date with Rick, and Liz was kind of, vague on details on what happened on the date. She gave little vague things like, yeah, we had a good time. And then Lucas was kind of like, well, did it lead to anything? And she was like, oh, I'll let you know later. And she left. So after that, Marco came in to give Lucas an update. He was like, he came really close to getting the medication, but his father came in. So Lucas was like, do you think that he's on to us? And he was like, no, he gave a really good excuse. He thinks his father believed it, so he thinks they're in the clear. But Lucas was really stressing to him, you got to hurry up and get this medication. We need this. And Marco was like, yeah, he knows. So hopefully Marco figures out some way to get this medication. I still, like I said, I don't know how he's going to do it. Between his father being around all the time and Pascal being around all the time, I don't know how he's going to get that medication out of that safe. Maybe they can swap a dose, like put water in for, like put a syringe of water in and then take out a dose. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, while they were there talking, Brooklyn and them, Brooklyn, Chase, and this new character came in. Brooklyn and Chase were on their date, and the way it was left off yesterday was that they saw somebody laying on the ground. It was a pregnant lady. So they were like, "Are you okay?" She was like, "I'm fine." And then all of a sudden she starts screaming. So obviously she wasn't fine. They got her over to GH. And then Lucas was there, and Lucas was like, okay, we got to get her into a room really quickly. So when they were getting her into the room, she asked Brooklyn to stay with her. So Brooklyn went into the room with the new character. Her name is Delilah, I think. It's really weird. A lot of people have said that she has some kind of tattoo on the bottom of her wrist, and some people are like, "Oh, that's from Willow Days, from the cult place that she was in during the day or something like that." And then some people are saying that it's maybe she's working with Sidwell. I don't know. Maybe the lady just got a tattoo. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comment section. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Um, so anyway, Brooklyn stays in there with Delilah. And Delilah is in there with Britt, Lucas, Liz, and I think there's a tech in the back. And she's in a lot of distress. She was thanking Brooklyn for staying with her, but then all of a sudden, she started getting really sharp pains Britt was asking her, did she fall on her belly, and then next thing you know, she passed out. They scooted Brook Lynn out of there, and Britt said, listen, we're going to have to do an emergency C-section or she's going to have to lose this baby. What I found a little weird was that Felicia, in the interim of all this happened, Felicia was talking to Chase, and she's asking Chase, saying she's going to be Delilah's advocate. But she's asking Chase, what do you know about her? Do you know where she lives at? Do you know her last name? I'm like, why would they know that? I don't. Anyway, I know she has to do her job, but I thought that was a little strange. But they're waiting to see what's going to happen with Delilah. I think Delilah is probably not going to make it, and Brook Lynn and Chase is probably going to wind up adopting this baby. That's my theory. I think it's going to happen, but it's really weird because we all know that their relationship is going to be strained. So if they get this baby and they have a strained relationship, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Danny was having a day, right? So Danny got in trouble from Tracy because he was down at the cottage house and he was messing it up. It's all dirty down there and everything like that. He's been hanging down there all the time. And Tracy was telling Jason, listen, you got to discipline your son because he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Then Alexis comes in. Alexis said, listen, the school called me and told me Danny ain't coming to school. So so they was like, you got to do something about this. Danny's sitting there like, I don't really need to be at school. I'm smart. I get these grades. And then Jason kind of just gave him like the death stare. It was just like, no, you got to go to school and you're going to go down to that cottage and clean it up. You, not the servants. And he was like, go down there and apologize to the servants for treating them bad. So Danny said he would and everything like that. Danny's a good kid, but he is definitely acting up. Danny told Tracy, Alexis, and Jason that he had to leave and go see a friend. Tracy and Alexis, Jason was like, okay, go ahead. And Tracy and Alexis was looking at Jason like, what are you doing? There's no discipline. You ain't gonna make him like ground him and nothing like that. So Jason was just like, no, he let him go. Jason did talk to Tracy and Alexis and said, you know what, he's updating his will because, just in case anything happens to him, he want to make sure that Danny's okay because, Danny, his mom is gone and stuff like that. Tracy is like, he's a Quartermaine, he needs to stay here. Alexis is like, I'm his grandmother, he needs to be with me and Scout. Um, Jason is just like, what? Now he's just like he opened up a can of worms. Somehow he got to make this so that they have joint custody or something like that if something happened to Jason. And it's understandable that Jason would do this because his life is so crazy that he should make sure that Danny is taken care of. I can see Danny splitting his time between both places if something happens to him. The only thing that I think would be a problem is if Drew ever gets up and start walking around again, who says that he's going to want Scout to be over there at all with Alexis once he's up and about, right? So anyway, I could see some kind of joint custody thing going on, like when Jason updates his will. Danny went to go meet Charlotte. He didn't tell Jason or Tracy or Alexis that he was going to see Charlotte. He just said he was going to see a friend. So him and Charlotte were talking about the kiss that they had. They gonna keep on going along with this. I was hoping when Charlotte said that was our first kiss and it's our last, that they were gonna just get out of this storyline. But here they go. They kissed again right after they had their little conversation. Charlotte did say if her father leaves, she's leaving with him because he needs somebody. He doesn't have anybody. She was like, her mother has a bunch of folks. Her father is by herself. So she feels like she should be with her dad. Danny was like, he would be sad to see her go, but he understands. And then, that's when they shared that kiss. I think they need to phase this out. The fans is not for it. It's just not right. Like, just let this go. We're going to act like it never happened and call it a day. I think that's what they need to do with this storyline. But that's where they ended it. I'm thinking Charlotte is probably going to leave once Valentine heads on out the door. Sunny and Justine put all their cards on the table, right? Justine was like, you know what? She has feelings for Sunny, but if she goes after this or have this relationship with him, that it's really going to affect her career. Sunny is like, look, if he starts talking to her and goes after this relationship, his enemies or his people are going to think that he's turning on them and so sharing information, so they may get rid of him. But they both have strong attractions to each other. They did admit that they both was using each other. Like he was using her to see if he could get a lighter sentence on Michael. She was using him to see if she could get to arrest him, so put him in jail. But in the end of everything, they realize that they really do care for each other and they want to see where this thing goes. So this is going to be interesting because on both aspects, they really putting a lot on the line to be in this relationship. And you know, nothing stays a secret in Port Charles. So as much as they think they're going to be able to sneak around, I'm sure somebody's going to find out. And I think both of them got too much to lose to be in this relationship. But we will definitely see what happens with this one. Guys, which storyline did you like the most in this episode? Which one did you like the least? I think my least favorite is Jordan. I just do not want to see this happen. I think Curtis and Portia and that little mix is enough going on. The Joe Jordan in there being pregnant too is kind of crazy. But I would definitely love to hear your comments down in the comment section. And